Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, today's newsmakers, and you. The Morning Majority, 6:30. WMAL.
7:07 Thursday morning in Washington, D.C. Coming up half hour from now, Stuart Varney from the Fox Business Channel will join us. We've got Penn Jillette next hour.
That'll be fun.
That should be fun. Lanny Davis, 8:36 this morning as well, so still a lot to do here with the Morning Majority. Christine O'Donnell's on the line. She's author of Troublemaker. Let's do what it takes to make America great again. Christine O'Donnell, of course, the Tea Party candidate that made a lot of noise in Delaware. Mike Castle versus Christine O'Donnell. Remember how that went? Conservatives, Tea Party versus establishment Republicans. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning.
I promise we'll get to your book and a lot of questions I want to ask you, but made some news yesterday because you were doing an interview with Piers Morgan from CNN, and you walked off the set during the conversation. I'm just curious as to what happened in your mind.
Yeah, well, it's certainly not as dramatic as I've seen the after reports make it. It was a taping, and we had gone way over our time limit, and I was already a half hour late for a speaking engagement, and his line of questioning took a decidedly inappropriate turn, and he just wouldn't let up, and I'm getting the wrap-up signals off camera because we had to go. So it was just like, okay, enough is enough. This guy's just, being inappropriate, borderline creepy. I had a room full of wonderful Republican women who were waiting for me to get there, and so they were just, giving me the signal, come on, wrap it up, let's go. Okay, that's exactly what happened.
Did you do a half hour or an hour on tape before that? I mean, because the parts that had been released by CNN, we were watching a 3-minute clip towards the end when, he was asking questions about gay marriage and things like that, and that's when, you said it's time for us to go.
Right. Well, I was only supposed to do, I think, 2 7-minute segments,
okay,
and tape them right back to back. I was supposed to be done at 6 o'clock, and it was about 6:15, and we were already late, and it was but there was a longer clip where I unfortunately they only put that, but I think the beginning clip where I got to get into detail with the book was great.
But as you departed, you made a comment about, I came here to talk about certain things. You suggested that the topics had not followed what had been promised when they set up the interview.
That's exactly what happened, and he just started going in this weird direction. It wasn't just it wasn't the question of gay marriage. It was the whole line of questioning that I thought was inappropriate.
I just want to ask you one thing, because you seem to say that you didn't think it was that dramatic. I've looked at the clip. It's sort of pretty dramatic.
Well, I wasn't sure if we were still taping at that point, because, off camera you're hearing, wrap up, let's go, and it's like, okay, what's going on here? Did we end? Did we not end? So it was just more awkward than anything, and, the emails we've been getting all night from, as far as overseas, people are saying, wow, Piers looked really rude, Well,
let me just clarify a minute. Had you already taped the 2 7-minute segments?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were done and we were over, and he was taking this, weird turn.
All right, well, let's get to your book, Troublemaker. Let's do what it takes to make America great again. The name of the book, Troublemaker, is that because people in the Republican Party and Democrats consider you a troublemaker? What about the name of the book, first of all?
Well, that title came from an article in Time magazine where it was a cover story during the election cycle last year where they called me a troublemaker because of the way that I busted up the backroom deal and the package, that they had neatly put together where this very liberal Republican was supposed to easily walk into the seat, was ruined. So, perhaps Time magazine meant it as an insult, but I certainly took it as a compliment.
Well, Christine, this is Mary Catherine, I wonder about the infamous and famous witch ad. In your book you say you were not a fan of that ad. I wonder how that came together, and it looked from the outside as an insurgent campaign. You had a lot of control over your message, and I wonder why you didn't put the kibosh on that if you didn't like it.
Mary Catherine, that's a great question, and I give the readers what they want, and right after the introduction I go right into that. I know people are picking up that book because they want to hear about that stupid ad, so I let them know. And I let them know that, as soon as I was presented with the concept, I said, I hate it. We've got to go in a different direction. But I go into painstaking detail because there's a great lesson to learn. Like you said, it was an insurgent campaign. We had an incredible victory, a major upset over a well-funded, well-organized establishment campaign. And the reason we had that victory is because we had the blood, sweat, and tears pushing our campaign over the finish line, and it was based on the pure gut and instincts of the voters, the disenfranchised voters in Delaware. So right after that, what did I do? I abandoned my gut and started listening to the so-called experts. And I again, lay out my thinking process, hoping that the reader can relate, because as we go into the 2012 elections, and, you have anyone from Joe Biden calling us terrorists or, people trying to malign the Tea Party movement, we've got to be more confident in our gut. And I'm hoping that the takeaway from, reading all the back and forth and learning, all what happened in the behind-the-scenes meetings into how we pick a vendor and what the NRSC was trying to ask us to do or not do. I hope that the everyday Americans who have never been involved in politics before but suddenly find themselves active and engaged, their gut instinct is telling them as they watch what's happening on TV, this is not right.
But Christine, in all fairness, you're blaming, you listened to the experts, you didn't trust your gut. Isn't ultimately, when you run a campaign, isn't it your campaign, and don't you have the say, the final say? I guess what I'm asking you is, it sounds like this is an apologist book where you're sort of shifting blame over how badly things went.
No, and Brian, if you've read the book, you'll see that I say I'm not blaming them. I'm saying what happened, and the mistake is entirely my own. I say that right there in the book, so it's very inaccurate to say that I'm blaming them.
Are you done with politics?
I'm certainly not done in terms of I'm hoping to continue to propel this middle class movement, and I'm grateful that I've been called a leader, and I hope to continue in that role. As to whether or not I'll run again, I'm not sure.
All right.
Are you going to do Dancing with the Stars?
I don't think so.
No?
Oh, man.
I think you should do it.
Will you be my dance partner?
I would if you want me to.
I'd pay good money for that. I'd pay money to see that.
I'm the understudy.
I just always feel that, Republicans and Tea Party, whoever they are, they need to get mainstream.
Yeah.
And if you want to, no matter what you do, whether it's Rush Limbaugh, who does, did the Golf Channel, did a show on that. I mean, I think the more people see Republicans or Tea Party, whatever, in the mainstream media, the better it is for that way of thinking. That's just my thought on why, if you're ever asked to do it again, I think you should do it. But it's just my opinion. All right, well, thanks for coming on the show. You're going to be at the Barnes & Noble tonight, downtown, 7 o'clock, right?
That's right.
All right, Christine O'Donnell, Troublemaker, let's do what it takes and make America great again.